Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Sumaya Hamid, your chemistry teacher. In today's video lesson, I'll discuss about grade 12 practical chemistry. I'm sure you all have your practical notebooks right now with you, and you can see the list of practical that are included in your grade 12 syllabus. You're not gonna write on each and every practical. You'll be writing only those I have highlighted over here. So over here we'll start from chapter 13 practicals, that is about detection of cations and detection of anions, and later it is detection of different gases. After that there are certain preparation that you will be writing in your practical notebooks, and some of the identification test for the functional groups from organic chemistry chapters. So we will start with salt analysis, that is also known as qualitative inorganic analysis, in which we identify the cation and anion of an inorganic salt. So you already know that salt is formed as a result of reaction between acid and base. Let's take the example of sodium chloride. In sodium chloride, sodium is cation and chloride is anion. So this cation is also known as basic radical, and anion is also known as acidic radical, because this anion is derived from acid and cation is derived from base. So how we are going to identify that? This is done by identification of these cations and anion is done by conducting a series of tests in a systematic manner, and then using observation to confirm the absence or presence of specific cations and anion. Depending on their mode of identification, these radicals are divided into different groups. Acid radicals are divided into 3 groups, whereas basic radicals are divided into 6 groups. These 3 groups include dilute acid group, concentrated acid group, and special group. The radicals that are included in dilute acid group, they are carbonate, sulfite, nitrite, and chromate, and many more. I have written only those radicals that are included in your syllabus. Concentrated acid group include chlorine, chloride, bromide, iodide, and nitrate. Special group include sulfate and acetate. So why we are going to why we term it dilute acid group? Because they are identified using dilute sulfuric acid. Over here they are identified using concentrated sulfuric acid. Over here I'll show you some of few solved practicals, so that you can take idea and you can solve and write down remaining practical in your notebook. We will start with dilute acid group, and in dilute acid group we will start with first radical, that is carbonate. In your practical notebook at the end you will find out the pages with 3 columns. These columns or these pages are specified for these analysis reaction, that is qualitative analysis reaction, especially the identification of cation and anion. So in the first column you will write down experiment, second column you will discuss observation, and third column you will write down inference, that what you have concluded as a result of this observation. So there will be 3 types of tests: dry test, wet test, and confirmatory test. Dry test means you are taking solid salt, you are not making it solution. Wet test means you are making a solution of that salt in water. That solution is also called original solution, and it is abbreviated as OS. And in your this practical guide and maybe in your notebook, sometime it is written OS. OS mean original solution, the solution of salt in water. So how you will start this writing this practical? You will start with dry test, then you will write down few at least 2 wet test, and then you will write down at least 2 confirmatory test. Okay. So for all the dilute acid group, dry test include just addition of dilute sulfuric acid. When we add dilute sulfuric acid to the solid salt, if that salt contained radical and this radical belong to dilute acid group, then definitely we will see a gas that is coming out of the test tube, and it means that dilute acid group is present. So to confirm that gas, we'll pass it through the lime water. If lime water turns milky, it means that gas was carbon dioxide, and we can have carbonate or bicarbonate. Now we will further do the test to identify whether the salt contain carbonate or bicarbonate. So the first word test we're going to do, we'll take original solution and we'll add silver nitrate. White precipitate formed, it means carbonate is indicated. With the barium chloride, if we are going to get white precipitate, it means carbonate is indicated. Conditions are mentioned over here. Then you will move on to confirmatory test. You have to write down at least two confirmatory tests, and you need to show the chemical reaction for confirmatory test. Okay. So in original solution, if we add magnesium sulfate and we are going to get white precipitate, then it means carbonate is confirmed. We will do another confirmatory test by adding calcium chloride, and if calcium carbonate, or you are going to get white precipitate, it means carbonate is confirmed. Just by looking at the color change and by formation of product, you are going to do the analysis that which radical is present, whether it is carbonate or bicarbonate. Okay. Coming to the next, I'm going to show you sulfite over here that also belong to dilute acid group. You need to write down as such. And then over here nitrite. Okay, I'll show you one example from concentrated acid group. In concentrated acid group, again, in all the analysis reaction, whether it is analysis of cation or anion, you have to write down first dry test, then wet test, and then confirmatory test. Okay. So what is the difference between identification of dilute acid group and concentrated acid group? In dilute acid group, concentrated acid group, first we take solid salt and we add then dilute sulfuric acid in it. So no gas is involved, it means dilute acid group is absent. Then we will add concentrated sulfuric acid. If we are going to get some gas, we can see the gas coming out of the test tube. It means concentrated acid group is present and we can have these radicals. Now we will do the test to identify which of these radical is actually present in that salt. So for that we can go for wet test, or if we have any special confirmatory test for that radical, then we will do that. All right. This sort of scheme is available only in old notebooks. You are not going to get this summarized written practical in your new notebooks. I'll be sharing some of the images of these written practical in Google Classroom, so you can take help. Coming to the second type of practical, that you are going to have certain preparation, that you have to prepare something in the lab by reacting to reactant. So for that you have to write down equipment that is required, or the chemical that is required. Definitely you will be writing procedure, so you need to be very careful while writing procedure, because you need not to copy it as such. You have to summarize the procedure, read it carefully, understand it, and summarize it in a few points, and then write down in notebook. Diagrams or observation and calculation, they should be written on the blank page. In every practical you will be writing a result at the end, so make a proper heading at the end of the practical. Even in the radical analysis, I have written result over here at the end. Likewise, whether you are doing any preparation or any identification, you will be writing result at the end. Okay, so keep in mind that diagrams and observation and calculation, they will come on the blank page. So you can draw the diagram right now during summer break, but you just leave the space for observation and calculation, draw the table, and leave the space. So once we will be doing this practical in lab, so there you'll be writing the values over there. Okay, I hope this video is clear and you understand about this radical analysis and how to write down practical in your practical notebooks. Still, if you have any confusion, you can contact me on WhatsApp. Try to finish your written practical written task within summer break, because you already know that you will not find time again to complete your practical notebooks. Okay, take care. Allah Hafiz.